pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No action will be taken at this public hearing. I'd like to read the public notice, legal notice that was in the paper on March 6th. The Bristol Township Zoning Commission, Trumbull County, Ohio, pursuant to RC 519-12.12, gives notice that a public hearing will be held on the 17th day of March 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m. in the Township Administration Building located on Park Drive and State Route 88 to consider a rewrite of Section 14 rear houses and renaming the section to accessory dwelling unit not attached to the principal dwelling. A copy of the full text of the revised Section 14 is on file with the Zoning Commission and is available for inspection and copying upon request to the Zoning Commission Chairman at 330-889-3282. All persons have the right to appear by representation to give testimony for or against the amendment by order of the Bristol Township Zoning Commission, Kenneth Weeks, Chairman. I did have one person, after the public notice was in the paper, request a copy of the section. I emailed that to them and haven't heard anything back on that. So what I'd like to do now is read the information that's there. Pass out a copy. Section 14, rear houses. Let me give a little bit of background here. Quite a while ago, Alan Gordon, the zoning inspector at that time, sent an email to Jason Topp at Trumbull County Prosecutor's Office, asking him to help her interpret what was currently in Section 14, rear houses in the Bristol Township zoning resolution. Jason emailed her back, "I can't make any sense out of it," basically is what he said, and it ought to be rewritten. So we've spent some time looking at this and we're talking about accessory dwellings at the same time we're talking about rear houses. And finally we came to a resolution here a couple months ago about the direction we wanted to go. And what we did was we eliminated everything that was in the current Section 14 rear houses and redid the whole item, whole section. Section 14 now, the draft now reads, accessory dwelling unit not attached to the principal dwelling. Purpose. This section identifies and regulates the design, construction, and usage of accessory dwelling units, ADU, not attached to the principal dwelling in Bristol Township. Definition. For the purpose of this section, an accessory dwelling unit is a separate structure designed for occupancy by one family that is located on the same lot parcel as the principal dwelling. An ADU may be a modified structure, that currently exists on the tax duplicate for the lot parcel. Only one ADU is permitted per lot parcel. An ADU shall not be the only structure on a lot parcel. The accessory dwelling unit is conditionally permitted in all districts. See Section 33 Conditional Zoning Certificate. As part of the application for a conditional zoning certificate for an ADU, proof of compliance with all Trumbull County Combined Health District regulations should be included in the application. B. As part of the application for a conditional zoning certificate for an ADU, a site plan should be presented showing all the related sections of the Bristol Township zoning resolution that have been reviewed by the zoning inspector and compliance confirmed. C. The lot parcel must be a minimum of 2 acres. An ADU must have a minimum of 1,000 square feet, but cannot exceed the square footage of the principal dwelling. The ADU must have access to street frontage as part of that lot parcel or by easement, which is executed and filed with the county recorder. A separate address is required for the principal dwelling and the accessory dwelling unit. And the last item is any non-conforming accessory dwelling unit existing prior to the effective date of this section will not be subject to this section. Jason talked to Trumbull County Prosecutor's Office has had a lot of input into this. You helped us along the way, and we've had a lot of discussion. Looked at Hartford's section for a while back here. What I'd like to do now is read the letter from the Trumbull County Planning Commission.
Thanks, friends.
Leave it. Do it.
No. No. There's a thing in the right place I want it.
You were so quick last time.
Excuse me while I look through my collection of paperwork here. Okay. We sent all the proper paperwork to the Trumbull County Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission provided this information with a letter dated Wednesday, March 12, 2025. Dear Mr. Weeks, reference Z 2025-3, zoning text amendment, accessory dwelling unit not attached to the principal dwelling. Enclosed is a copy of resolution number 320-2025-18, which was adopted by the Trumbull County Planning Commission at its regular board meeting on March 11, 2024. The Planning Commission recommends approval of the proposed zoning text amendment and that the township consult with legal counsel in reference to the comments listed in the Plats and Zoning Committee minutes of March 4, 2024, a copy of which is attached. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. And I sent that all out to everybody and asked you to review the minutes of that meeting, and that we would go through those items that they identified that they would like us to look at. Okay. Subsequently to that, I sent another email to Kim Vaughn at the Trumbull County Planning Commission. I had some concerns about the last sentence in the letter that they wrote that stated that the Planning Commission recommends approval of the proposed zoning amendment and that the township consult with legal counsel in reference to the comments listed in the Plats and Zoning Committee minutes of March 4th. I sent a letter to Kim and asked her, the last sentence of the letter, are there specific comments that we need to address that were in the comments? And she responded back to me, nothing that you need to address, just a few suggestions that you can take or leave. We just pointed out a few things that the other communities looked at. It doesn't mean that you need to, just items to consider in case you do want to include them. They are listed in the minutes that were attached. So what I'd like was there, when you went through the list of information that the Planning Commission submitted to us, was there anything in the table that you'd like to have included in our resolution or our amendment?
I don't prefer press the table on you.
Yeah. I didn't print it out, Pam.
I'm sorry?
I didn't print it out, so I'm,
I can still have that too, so I'm good.
you know, so I'm barely. Didn't write down. See. But what are your thoughts, Ken?
Well, at first, I had some real concerns when I first read this, and that was the same day that I sent out this email to everybody on that. And when I got Kim's response back saying that there really wasn't anything that was meant by it, and nothing that you need to address, I felt much better about it. There's nothing in there, in any of the comments that they made, that I think we should add into it. We talked about most of that through the discussions that we've had in the past. So I felt very comfortable, and then Jason basically gave us the text for this, what we have now. So I feel pretty comfortable and just want to keep it
No, I
simple the way it is and
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah.
You know,
would agree.
so. If nobody has any, you're all in agreement then,
Yeah, simple is always the way I like to go.
okay. Does anybody on the floor have any comments?
No.
It's a long time, a lot of work you guys did. Thank you.
Eric, your first opportunity to read this for the first time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have a similar thing like this in Warren. Ours is 760 square feet on a second structure,
600 square feet.
700.
Or 700. Well, we have a minimum requirement in the township zoning regulation now that a dwelling resident has to be minimum of 1,000 square feet. So we had to say in the book, in this resolution, that you couldn't be anything less than 1,000 square feet.
Sure.
Yeah, so. Okay. Okay, if there's no other business, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have you made the motion? You made the motion?
Oh, I thought I'll second then. I thought you seconded.
Roll call.
Mr. Weeks,
Yes.
Ms. George,
Yes.
Ms. Pace,
Yes.
Ms. Bernard,
Yes.
and I'm yes as well.
Give me 5 minutes to get organized and then we'll start the meeting about 20 after 6.
Yeah, I said that.
Shall we have roll call, please? I'm glad I'm not.
Mr. Weeks,
Yes.
Ms. Courage,
Yes.
I got Carolyn all confused now.
Ms. Pease,
Yes.
Ms. Bernard,
Yes.
and I'm yes. So,
I'd like to read the public notice that was in the paper today about this meeting. It's in the agenda section of the Tribune. Bristol Zoning Commission will meet at 6 p.m. today at the Township Hall. So we met the publication obligation there. So okay.
Ken, is that changing soon to where you don't
Well-
have to do that anymore? Or?
I sent an email to Jason Toff because the Ohio Revised Code supposedly changed in House Bill 315 that precluded the need for publication in the newspaper. The 315, the way the House wrote that bill, is kind of vague, like they always write stuff.
Mhm.
So Jason's suggestion was we continue, although they do say in there you don't have to, but there are certain occasions when you would have to publish in the paper. Even legal notices are separate from the daily publication notification. So Jason suggested we continue to do what we've been doing for the And hopefully it'll continue to get published the way it should get published, but there are occasions where you have to, if you had to publish twice or three times, a different process has to take place from what he told me. So I will continue to try to get it in the newspaper and the agenda section so it's there. But it's not going to have the impact if it doesn't get published for some reason. I'm not going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off that
Yeah.
day, trying to get, notices out there that the meeting was canceled. We'll just go ahead and have it, as long as it gets out on that marquee electronic sign. out there. So,
have you guys started using the Facebook page yet?
that's coming, I hope.
Bless
So.
you.
Okay.
Uh,
I
So
know, I know it's up and running. Last time you and I talked, it was not, and
it's up and running now.
last trustee meeting, it is up and running now. So both of you should be getting access to the page. What's it called? I think it just says Bristol Township.
Yeah, I think it does.
Anyway, hopefully that'll preclude some of the other notification issues out there. So next item on the agenda is we need a motion to approve the minutes, regular meeting minutes held on January 20th. Carolyn, myself, and Tara are the only ones that can vote on that. Vivian and Jeannie would have to abstain. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on January 20th, 2025. Do we have a second?
Make a second.
Roll call?
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Ms. Bernard?
Yes.
And I'm yes as well.
Okay. Long time getting that one taken care of. Next item on the agenda is a motion to approve the public hearing minutes held on February 10th, 2025. Will someone make that motion?
I can't.
You can't make that motion yet.
Can I make a motion to approve the minutes from February
February 10th.
10th?
You have a second?
I'll second
Okay. Roll call?
it. Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Ms. Pease?
Yes.
Ms. Bernard?
Abstain.
And I'm yes as well.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 10th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on February 10th.
And I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Ms. Pease?
Yes.
Ms. Bernard?
Abstain.
And I'm yes as well.
Next item on the agenda is to open it up for public comments and questions. Did you ever?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost it.
Corey, anything?
Maybe tomorrow.
And the next item on the agenda is normally the zoning inspector report.
Well, heck, this only being the second day on the job, I've scheduled some, inspections for, certificates, zoning certificates,
I'm sorry?
for zoning certificates, for approvals, a culvert, couple accessory structures, two garages.
Busy.
I don't know if that's business.
Yeah, that's busy.
Yeah, that's busy.
Someone's answering the phone.
Because normally, we get one item from the zoning inspector report.
Oh, well,
So this is,
Over.
we're really enthused about this.
okay, well, we'll see how we progress going throughout the year. This is coming into spring, so I'm sure, construction's gonna pick up and stuff like that.
Okay. Can you give the group here a little bit of background about your,
Yeah, I've worked for the city of Warren for the last 23 years. I have a bachelor's in environmental science from Kent State University. I'm currently the planning and zoning coordinator for the city of Warren, Department of Water, city. I plan on finishing my career in the city. I have two young children. They're 2 and 4. Just turned 4. I guess I graduated from Warren Harding in 1999. Pretty much a lifelong resident of Trumbull County. I also officiate basketball and soccer, and as a matter of fact, I'm often here at Bristol quite a bit. So,
You live in Warren?
yes.
Busy.
Welcome to the community.
Yeah.
you know.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And I guess we welcome comments, thoughts, as you go through your job process and see people coming in. And as you get more familiar with the zoning book, I'm sure there's going to be places where you might want to suggest that we make
Sure,
improvements.
and I will. I mean, I'll take what I know from the city and I'll apply what I can here. Our zoning ordinances most are from 1964, so
Well, we're from 56 basically, so.
yeah.
It's
I
going to be a
guess as
learning.
far as enforcement, I always like to knock on somebody's door and talk to them before I send a certified letter or, start any kind of paper trail. We will enforce, but I'll work with you and trustees. I think you read my interview is how I intend to run the overall zoning program here in the township. Sometimes when I've been doing this kind of work now for the last 10 years, sometimes people don't like to see the zoning guy. If they know they're in the wrong, they're usually upset before you get out of the car. It's best to be cordial, leave, and just send a letter in that instance. I know just like in the city, you guys deal with a lot of the same problems, the broken down vehicles left on properties, people trying to get away with not buying a building permit or something like that. Those are pretty common things throughout the county. I know the county permit guy very well. As a matter of fact, I'm working on something out here with him now. So I already have all those connections into Trumbull County to make the calls to the building and the health department, because I did work in the health department for 5 years with the city of Warren as well. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to ask me. So you guys are my boss, so.
No, we're not your boss.
Can I make one comment, being you have young kids? Don't go on people's property. They're crazy out here.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll confront the board.
For one, you have to be escorted by a cop. It's not legal for you to do. It's considered trespassing.
Well, it's my understanding you're allowed to go to the front door.
You're not. I've already gone to court with the previous. You are not allowed on the property without a police
I'll
escort.
check with, I believe I've seen in my desk.
But I'm just,
Attorney Fenimore is the township attorney.
Jason Todd.
Okay, I just found.
I'm just saying, property, the people are a little crazy. I would like to see you stay alive.
Yeah, sure.
Jason Toth, the assistant Trumbull County prosecutor.
Okay, yeah, I'll check with him.
Give him a call.
Sure.
Any questions?
I would prefer somebody would come to my door before writing me a letter, so.
I agree with that.
Personally, I kind of wish she would have gone that direction before she started getting.
We're not dealing with Ellen anymore, though. so
I
we're-
understand that, but that's also part
I
of
think
like
it's
the
a little
transition. It's created that mentality in town where he's not wrong. People don't want to see that vehicle in the driveway.
No, I think maybe they will. I think keep an open mind.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I would welcome you in
I've
my
been in the
neighborhood.
roughest, toughest neighborhoods.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Ohio,
Warren,
tread
so, yeah, I
outdoors.
think Bristol's okay.
I think people would
I'm-
respect that more
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
you doing that.
I honestly, that's how I feel. If somebody
Yeah.
gives me the opportunity and I ask you, can you please clean it up in 2 weeks?
sure, yeah.
You get a lot more,
What-
I get
what's the
80% more
situation?
compliance that way than sending a letter where the person knows that they're gonna go to court. And I'm gonna be honest, like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years, this kind of work. The judge only wants to see compliance, and they're not real hard in zoning. I don't know how Newton Falls is. I have no experience in the Newton Falls court, but I know in the city court, we have housing court the first Wednesday of every month. And sometimes I take people back 4 or 5 times, and that spends a lot of my time because I wait on the judge. I can wait 3 hours in court just for high grass or an old car, it's really a waste of time when you knock on that door. Sometimes people are just like, oh yeah, I'll take care of that, no big deal. Because they don't want to go sit in court. And I try and
Yep.
you can kind of massage somebody and start getting to do what you want without having to.
Sure.
So
Well,
it's
and
okay.
to be fair too, I think, I'm hoping the letters you send out would be a little bit more descriptive than what Ellen would send out. Ellen would just say junk with an ORC number. She would not give you a definition of what the problem was. She wouldn't actually tell you what she wanted fixed. So there was a lot of chasing around.
Yeah, no, I mean,
To get somewhere.
I write administrative orders.
Okay.
No, I'll be descriptive. You know, it's something you can sum up in 2 or 3 sentences. It's a very, you know, and like I said, if you go to the person's house, I always compare it like getting pulled over by a police officer. If he pulls you over for speeding and you lets you go with a warning, if you go by him the next week and you're still speeding in the same road and it's the same officer, you bought that ticket when he goes and writes it. That's at least that's my mentality and how I've come to do things. The logic. You can't go out sending letters to everybody because there are people. There's 20% of the population that will fight you just because they say it's my property.
If you have any questions, you need us, by all means, give us a call or
Sure.
email
Sure.
us. Yeah.
I'll get you guys the numbers.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the report on the public hearing held on 3/17/25, section 14 warehouses/ADU. Letter from the Trumbull County Prosecutor. So, do we feel a need to go through all that information again?
No, they're good.
Jeannie, you okay?
No, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I would then like to make a motion. I'll make the following motion. I make a motion to approve section 14 as rewritten and to revise the name from rear houses to accessory dwelling unit not attached to the principal dwelling. Trumbull County Planning Commission has provided their recommendation, resolution number 3-2025-18. A public hearing was held on March 17th pursuant to RC 519.12. No objections were offered. Therefore, be it resolved that the Bristol Township Zoning Commission recommends that the Bristol Township trustees approve the rewrite and name change to section 14 as presented. If approved, the chairman will forward the appropriate documents to the trustees for their consideration. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Discussion. The zoning commission has been working with the Assistant Trumbull County Prosecutor, Jason Poff, throughout this process. Second item is see attached email dated 3/13/25 from Kim Vaughn, Trumbull County Planning Commission for clarification of recommendations. Roll call?
Mr. Weeks,
Yes.
Ms. Courage,
Yes.
Ms. Pease,
Yes.
Ms. Bernard,
Yes.
and I'm yes as well.
Thank you. I'll get that information out to the trustees for their meeting tomorrow night. Next item on the agenda is short-term rentals. At the last trustee meeting, after some discussion by the trustees, they read the letter that we had sent to the trustees. And the discussion, and Vivian was there that night also. The trustees basically said that they'd like us to, if nothing more than incrementally pursue what we can find out, but not to drop it per se. They didn't want us to table it, they want us to do that. Did you have a chance to look at anything, Vivian?
At the different examples you're talking about from like Howland and
Yeah.
the different, yes. And I feel like, I mean, Howland is very much structured. I don't think we have to be that structured, but I think we need to put something in place to say that we are registering them, just so that we are aware of what's happening in our township here. So, I mean, that there's something, we gotta set some guidelines, I feel. But, I mean, Howland is definitely policing theirs more than I think we're capable of doing.
I disagree. I feel like we can't police them. And there's not, I feel like,
No, it's-
I don't think we can, I don't think that,
I don't think we should register them.
and do what?
Just a way of letting you know where they are and if we have them in the township, and that if there is a problem, you actually have something. If we do nothing, then we have nothing to fall back on.
If it's a problem, we call the police. If we don't have a register, we call the police.
So the way that's they're stated is that somebody had to oversee it, whether they lived in this community or they didn't have to necessarily be the owner, but maybe the manager of it. So that there was somebody, there's a go-to person, it's registered, and there's someone on file, but that's the person you contact if there's a problem, because you don't know who's coming and going every week, but you have a contact person, and I feel like that you kind of need
Yeah.
that.
I think the contact person's nice, but I'm not sure that what's gonna stop them from not registering them? Does it cost money to register them?
Costs us money. How are we gonna police that?
That's what I'm saying. How do we, I don't know.
Well-
I don't know.
I mean, put the guidelines out there, hope that people do the nice right thing, and if they
Right.
don't, then everything in the dark comes to light at some point, so
Right.
you'll get caught up, I mean. You don't
I mean, I
have
don't
to
think it has to be
police
some
that.
great feat to it, but there's something that actually shows that we're doing something to control it a little bit.
Can you write that up and then kind of send it out to everybody so we can digest that and,
Like what I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be real strict,
Pretty
but something,
Yeah.
a general thing so that we say, okay, we know where they're at, and if somebody would ask, yeah, we know we have 10 of them in our township. And we have a contact person for each one of those. Because if something's going, you know,
I guess as a property owner, I would want to know if something was going wrong anyhow. You know, yeah.
what does City of Warren do?
We don't have short-term rental, so I say Warren, you either are owner occupied or you register the rental through the city health department, which requires inspection. The city's in the process of hiring 2 more inspectors just for rental inspections. Or health inspectors.
So rental's a rental, the rental.
Yeah,
They-
we
they have to be
we certified by
registered.
owner occupancy. It's not occupied by the owner. It's a rental. Even if the home is, even if you're letting your child live at the home for free, it's
Wow.
still a rental and it has to be up to code. As far as the short term, the VRBOs, the trendy, my only suggestion, I remember reading the police board about reoccupying a home. I found it somewhere here on last Wednesday. You guys asked when a home is, or a structure is reoccupied, them to contact the township, so for police and fire response. So the township knows, but it's not a mandate from what I remember reading. So,
Can you find that again?
yeah, that's not a problem.
in Warren, they have to pay a fee annually, right? Isn't it an annual fee?
It's a year, yes, it's a yearly fee, it's 85, but I think it's going to 125. It's been in place for
I know.
a long time.
Okay, so my question, that is, Warren's obviously much bigger, and you have a full-time, how many of these guys are inspectors doing this?
So usually 3 at the moment. One oversees it.
And
they're
hiring
not-
2 more?
They're probably, they're probably inspected every 3 to 5 years. It's not, usually when they're reoccupied, they'll get an inspection, and the inspection goes from things like fire alarms to checking the hot water tanks, the heating systems, the lighting, because there was, 20, 25 years ago, there was a real bad problem with Warren's housing stock.
Mhm.
For the last 15 years, we've ripped out 150 houses a year at least.
Wow.
So our housing stock is turning over. Now with Kimberly Clark coming into the city, we're actually getting applications for new construction and actually residential subdivisions.
So I guess my question would be is if we implemented something like this, would we be hiring or outsourcing? Is this something he would be doing?
Well, I thought we were just saying short-term rental, so he's talking about any rental.
I'm talking.
In Warren,
I
it's-
understand that, but I mean, who's going to do the inspection if we go this route?
I don't know if we're gonna, do we want a full inspection, or are we just saying you have to register it, you have to have a contact person, or you have to have this much on file.
Simple.
So keep it simple, don't get,
She's just
Yeah.
coming up with a registry and a
yeah,
property manager.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if somebody wants to take it further, but I'd say do
Yeah, like,
that as a
no,
minimum.
seven-
But if there's 10 or
$125
less
fee.
or so, it's not a huge deal to keep up with it.
Right.
But if it got to be more, it might be a different situation.
Right.
Well, write up what you know, what you
Okay.
think, okay?
All right,
And then, this is I'm just going by what, we've wanted to table this, basically. And the trustees at the last meeting wanted us to continue it.
Okay.
So, continue our discussion on it, so that's all I'm trying to do now is fulfill what the trustees asked us to do, so. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot or anything, just to, you have a discussion process going on.
well, I think like with that other one, when we had that situation, nobody was sure who they were contacting, were they? I mean, that was just, so I feel like that's. And then it,
I'll say we had a new fella, by the old tattoo shop, and he emailed me when he bought it to make sure there was no registry needed, so he must have somewhere else where he owns them, and they have to be registered. So he reached out to me to ask about registration, we told him,
I got one thing just to ask. I have no problem in knowing where they're at. I don't. But would you guys consider that a business?
Pay taxes on
There you go.
so you have to be his own business then?
Well, I don't have to register to be in this township. So my thing is I'm not registered, your brothers are not registered, your uncle, and then we never come up here and signed up. So what my point is about that is you're gonna want them to register. And if it's considered a business, then they're gonna say, well, nobody else is.
The trustees.
That's
got-
what my point
The
is about
trustees
it.
got an opinion a couple of years ago. Doug Seaman asked Jason about that very question. If a rental property was a business, and Jason was very emphatic that it's not a business.
Well, that's why I want to say, making sure you guys aren't going to consider it as a business.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, because that's what I'm getting,
It's
it's
not-
like hypocritical,
Yeah.
because you're kind of
It's a
pinpointing on
rental,
that.
it's
Yeah.
not a business.
That's, yeah, okay.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's no different having a rental house.
Right.
We don't have to register them,
Lots to think about.
Yeah.
And again, this is just, we've been talking about this for quite a while now, so we continue to talk about it. As long as we're talking about it, we're okay. Okay. Next item on the agenda is alternative energy system, subsection 2, solar energy system. Tara, you're
Okay.
on.
I did a little bit of work, and I'll pass one down here in a minute. Not all of this applies to our township, so I printed out enough copies for us all to go home and do a little bit of, it doesn't apply. Please make some marks and bring it back or email it to me, and I just feel like it's more than I am interested in or able to alone make the decision. It's not just my decision. So, it's more than we need. So I went through and did what I could as far as the first half. The second half gets really particular.
And what you're talking about is the format that was supplied to us by the Trumbull County, by the
Yeah.
State Trustee Association.
Yeah.
The Trumbull County Planning Commission is recommending that all townships use as a format.
Right. And make it our own.
So,
Yeah. So it's just, there's more there than, I feel like it's too wordy for us. So. Please, yes, take one and pass it down. It's double-sided, the second page.
I want to jump back to something just real quick, and he had a very valid point. They're paying taxes on that. It really is kind of a business. Right? I am throwing that out there because he's absolutely right. So that becomes an in-home business. If you're trying to keep them out.
But I don't think any of us want to keep them out.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
At least, I'm not.
I don't
would be
either.
very
I'm not
opposed to
against it.
trying to-
No.
And that was one of the suggestions, the original letter that we got from the trustees. The suggestion was that we look at prohibiting them. And
But that could also
Prohibiting-
bring up static
prohibiting them
over
would
your
be a major
in-home.
disaster, because now your discrimination And you're just opening yourself up to a whole lot of other issues that
Right.
we don't need.
Right, but that is, you see what my point is though, if it is considered if it is considered a business, that really does become an in-home business, which that's a sketchy thing in this township. So it's something to think about. It is.
Some simple
I just
guidelines
make
and
your-
move on. Yeah, right.
It can be, but it can also be a double barrel shotgun toward you too. Because a
Well,
lot of people like to do things at their home and they can't do it without a big fight.
I think the biggest problem was the lady before was kind of operating a mini campground, which stirred up this whole mess. You know,
There's,
Not there.
there's years of things going on around town here, but
Anyhow,
Anyhow,
I'll
just
be one of our, I'll
wanted
be
to put
one
that
of
out there.
13 for next meeting if you're okay with that. And
Yeah.
I'll have a little bit of homework.
And I'll shoot you a copy of it too.
So Nikki hasn't established to be a dog for me yet. I just spoke with her as far as.
Do you have a personal email?
Yeah, I could give you my personal email for use right now.
If you don't mind it for temporary use.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Send us emails only.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Is he gonna send us emails?
I like this version.
What is that report?
Alright.
Okay.
Okay. So we're tabling that item also for further study,
Yes, please.
as we tabled the short-term rental. Okay, next item on the agenda. Zoning certificate, section 20.
That's the boring.
Pardon? Barn dominion. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Couple weeks ago, I got a phone call, about a barn dominium, and we don't have anything in our zoning about barn dominiums. So I did some research and, have you heard the term barn dominium?
Yeah, I had somebody.
And after a lot of research, I talked to Kim Vaughn down at Trumbull County Planning Commission. She went to the Trumbull County Zoning Inspectors meeting. And she asked around about that. And just about all the zoning inspectors commented that, as far as they're concerned, they treated it just a normal house, right up permit, so. What started out to be a mountain is a molehill.
Yeah.
So barn dominiums are a non-issue as far as anything else goes, so that'll come off the agenda. Thank you for catching me up on that, Carolyn. I need to. Okay. Next item on the agenda is section 20, zoning certificate fees. What started this whole process several weeks ago, back around the 21st of December, I got a phone, was involved in a conversation, and read what I sent to Jason. Hi, Jason. I was asking why our zoning resolution, section 20, zoning certificate states that in paragraph 1, fees for the purpose of defraying the cost of inspection, certification, maintenance of records shall be established by a majority vote of the Bristol Township Zoning Commission at its annual organizational meeting and shall remain constant until changed or continued at each successive annual meeting. I did a Google search of the revised code looking for the section that mandates the zoning commission to only revise fees at their annual organization meeting. That search was unsuccessful. I look forward to your thoughts on this topic. The response I got back from Jason was, and he did this on a Sunday afternoon too. Jason's great as far as I'm concerned. Good morning, Ken. Please be advised, I said afternoon, Sunday morning. Please be advised that it is my opinion that the zoning fee provision in Bristol Township's zoning resolution, as set forth in your February 21st, 2025 email to me, should be amended so that only the Township Board of Trustees may set zoning fees by separate resolution. Since the Township Zoning Commission is only a recommending body with respect to township zoning, CRC 51905, 51906, 51907, 51910, 51912. To this end, please be advised that the Ohio Attorney General has opined that RC Chapter 519 does not require that the amount of fees be charged for the zoning permits be specified in the zoning resolution. If the zoning resolution authorizes the changing of fees, the township trustees may from time to time set the amount of fees by separate resolution. Such fees must, however, bear reasonable relation to the cost of inspection of the site and issuance of the permits. 1979 OP Ohio Attorney General number 79051 at paragraph 1 syllabus. Going forward, I recommend that you review section 20 section 20.7A fees of Howland Township zoning resolution, which is available on Howland Township's website. As Howland Township's zoning fee provision applies to the foregoing mandate of the Ohio Attorney General. I trust that this opinion contains the information that you are seeking. If you have any questions relative to this matter, please forward them to me. So I went back through and did a little bit of research, and when 1956, when the zoning resolution was originally passed with section 20, it was section 19 at that time, the trustees were the ones who set the fees. Sometime in 1978, the resolution got changed, but there's no record of it being changed. So, I had a phone conversation with Jason and followed up on that. And what I did was I created a new section 20 zoning certificate fees. I think I sent that to everybody, or at least you have a copy of it I passed out tonight. And I'd like to read what I did there. Fees for application zoning certificates, variances, appeals, conditional zoning certificates, and other zoning authorization and services shall be submitted by applicants and other parties as required by resolution of township trustees. Unless otherwise provided, fees shall be paid at the time of the application or request for service. A receipt for all fees paid by the applicant shall be issued by the township physical officer, which is also different than what it was currently in there. I think Ellen is, well, I don't know. Anyway, that's new text. Text that's being removed is fees for the purpose of defraying the cost of inspection, certification, and maintenance of records shall be established by majority vote of the Township Zoning Commission at its annual organizational meeting and shall remain constant until changed or continued at each successive annual organization meeting. Fees shall be paid prior to the issuance of a zoning certificate. That's been removed. Item 4 stays in there as it is. Industrial fees shall be established in the same paragraph as paragraph 1. Added text, the zoning certificate is not required for new siding and roofing. Item 6, the zoning certificate fee. And this is where the zoning inspector shall apply the going rate as established by what used to be the zoning commission is now township trustees and charge accordingly. The rate shall be on file at the office of the zoning inspector at all times and available for public inspection. Item 8, builder shall obtain a zoning certificate before new construction additions or alterations have been started. Builders, property owners shall or non for the subject property and manner begins text and its additions or alterations have been started by the builder all within 6 months of completion. And the rest of the text is coming in. Jason basically provided, I sent this, after I did this, I sent this to Jason, and Jason said that looks pretty good to him, so that's why I'd like to present it tonight. And ask for us, to the zoning commission, to approve this, so we can send it on to the Plymouth County Planning Commission for their recommendation.
I have a comment.
Yes,
Can I ask, do you accept fees when you do, any kind of, or do you not take?
No, I don't. So we're all online.
Okay,
You have to go through an online portal. And actually, we do it all in-house administratively. The building department actually
okay,
takes the money.
okay. So people are gonna give him money and he give him a receipt.
well, that's, I'm gonna find out what,
There is a receipt book in the office. I
Yeah.
can go through it.
Like, I'm cool with, I don't think everybody would be cool with like giving him money and not saying. I,
I would only be comfortable taking check or money where I'm not taking
Yeah.
cash.
yeah, Yeah.
see, but the revised
Actually get
code
lost.
says that the physical officer
Checking money
only
order,
has to
I-
issue the receipt.
yeah, that makes
Gotcha.
sense, but,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is something that's
yeah,
gonna have to be worked out. I'm just going by what the RC says.
Yeah.
And that's why it's in there. If we change that, we can change that.
yeah. No, I know, that's what I was concerned with, like, you don't want that.
No, I don't want the
No,
response.
no.
Like I said, I'm willing to take a check or money order, but and it has to be made out to the township.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you know when we stopped taking cash? I know.
No, that's just my comfort.
Yeah.
That way,
Mhm.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea what.
Okay.
every city, no city office accepts cash.
So I know I paid cash in 2012. It was like $7.
Yeah.
So I have a motion. I'd like to read a motion then. I make a motion to accept section 20 zoning certificate fees with deleted text and additional text. The Township Board of Trustees may set the zoning fees by separate resolution. Township Zoning Commission is only a recommending body. See section RC 51905, 6, 7, 10, and 12. If approved, the chairman will forward the appropriate documents to the Trumbull County Planning Commission for their review and recommendation. A public hearing is scheduled for April 14th at 6:00 p.m. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
The only discussion I have at this time is the Trumbull County Assistant Prosecutor, Jason Pop, has provided guidance for this rewrite, so. Roll call,
Mr. Weeks,
yes.
Ms. Burge,
Yes.
Ms. Pease,
Yes.
Ms. Bernard.
Yeah.
And I'm yes as well.
Oh, this meeting's taking. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the comments from commission members. Tara, you got anything for the good of the organization?
I'm still concerned about shipping containers, but I know we have somebody now, so,
And there's 2 more came into the township just recently.
yeah, so we have,
Shipping
they were,
containers are structured.
it's in our zoning handbook that they're not supposed to be, people are using them for garages and things
Correct.
like that.
They are actually considered a structure by the building.
So we've got to change, we've got to look at that now.
Board of Building Standards. They're not supposed to be because shipping containers have heavy manufacturing paint that contains carcinogens. They're made for transoceanic voyages. They're not good for a human to occupy.
Mhm.
We've got some work to do. This is going to be the next one on the.
Yeah, oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we will be
Sorry,
following up on shipping containers for you.
okay, thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Vivian,
Nothing. I just kind of want to see us do something with the, short-term rentals.
Jeannie,
Work on that.
I just want to wrap it up, so I'm good. Honestly.
at least you're being honest about it.
Yeah.
Carolyn, anything?
Tara second.
Okay. The only thing I have is the Northeast Ohio Planning and Zoning Workshop will be at the Eastwood Mall Conference Center on June 13th. And I will get a list of the topics of discussion that they're going to have that day. There's 12 different topics and there's a couple, 3 different in each one of those. And it would be valuable. This is the first time it's been in Trumbull County in a lot of years. If you have a chance to go.
So June 13th?
June 13th, it's a Friday. And the township will pay the fee. And there is a breakfast, and there is a lunch. So it's,
Well,
come on down.
is that open to public or just official?
I bet you could, if you apply for it, if you send a reservation in, I'll bet you could go.
The Friday 13th?
Friday the 13th. And as soon as I get the information, I'll get it to you too.
Sure.
That's the only thing I have. Otherwise, just go over the dates of our next meeting is April 14th. And by chance, the public hearing falls within the date, so that it falls on our regular meeting date, so that in April, we'll be doing 2 meetings at the same time again, so I think that well.
Okay,
Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Weeks,
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
Ms. Pease,
Yes.
Ms. Bernard.
Yes.
And I'm yes as well.
Thank you.